Welcome back to Decentralized Nutritional Science in the frame, lens, and context of structural inaccessibility. This is simply a public announcement to announce the rebranding progress and intent of the entire Nutritional Humility, visual identity, as well as its various other visual collaterals. Let us actually do a little bit of introduction in a first-person formatting perspective. My name is Andrew Wiguna. I am by former trade and qualifications a multidisciplinary creative graphic designer, branching from various proficiencies between general graphic design, branding identities, style guiding, wireframing, and all the way down to digital design, self-learning initiatives, as well as disciplines towards that as motion graphics and video editing on the Apple ecosystem workflow. However, for a good number of years since 2015, just to provide context once again for the readers who are unaware, is such that I also maintain and strongly have been attaining various cross-disciplinary interests towards nutrition, health and wellness, as well as fitness, but more broadly from towards the alternative and or decentralized non-dogmatic view as alternative nutrition. Looking back at Nutritional Humility's branding all the way back since its early 2017 to midway of 2017 was that it tries to encompass itself as multiple messages of sociological benevolence, so to speak. That was its prime initial idea over the fact that humility is its idealistic of an outcome. However, this is where the problem begins, or at least a branching concerns of various problems behind its very own anticipation and, sadly, in all of things, perception and reception. Perhaps it is better for us to actually take a step back and take a look at the entire purpose behind graphic design and visual communication and branding in general when we take into account and context behind nutritional advocacy, health and fitness training, coaching, and or likewise entrepreneurial self-motivational branding per se. What do all of those things have in common? What do all these brandings have in common? Well, they most likely will be nothing more but a replica of advocating an outcome, a result of anything that seems ideal in their intended destination, in their intended outcome, in their intended perception to whoever it tries to speak to its demographics. So why the need for the rebrand? The main problem behind Nutritional Humility, like many other, once again, the self-nutritional coaching advocacies, health and fitness training, social media channels, nevertheless still remains entrapped into the idea that we are all selling nothing but one thing only, that is, ideal outcomes, ideal results. And yet, all of these things, despite however ideal in their way as a condensed thematical outcome, so to speak, nevertheless actually ignores and somewhat undermines the logistics behind such an outcome, behind such an idealism, behind such a result. And this is where the need for this concept initiative to be polarizing. So therefore, in this entire rebranding project will consist of the following various key concerns that it must tackle to differentiate and distinguish itself once again, furthermore, beyond than just nutrition frugality. In which, unfortunately, due to the length of this video, such can only be condensed to just one or two key discussions that needs to be tackled upon, and that is to do with the crisis of motivation. Motivation itself is very, very confusing in its own right. Is it an objective or is that an outcome? It's quite difficult to determine and to define, isn't it? Because it is open-ended in interpretation. So why is it that we tend to be paternalistic in our current anticipation of such a vision or a mission thematic statements today? That needs to change, in the humble opinion of this author, towards that of more polarizing and that of taking ownership. So we shall have to, once again, this is where we have to take an objective way of thinking even further and really try to deconstruct over what each of these idealism outcomes really requires. Of course, we can all say yes for health and fitness. Of course, we all wish to say yes to this outcome or that outcome. But how many number of no, I shall not do this, no, I cannot do that, no, I shall have to say no to this, say no to that. Psychical ketogenic principles, fasting and then binging and then or purging here and there, transitioning between extremes, between contrasts, one after another, 5 days of low carbohydrate and then followed by 1 or 2 days of refeeding, carnivore diets and then followed by refeeding, whatever the case may be, and then count all of this as logistics. Now, when we take a step back and look at the entire picture, all of a sudden, health and fitness is a mosaic. So the next thing that needs to be addressed upon is this crisis of ownership. Of course, for the sake of accuracy, naming names is not the prime intent of this presentation at all. Thus, not to name names, we've seen glamorous-looking individuals who seemingly have been endowed or so-called championed or triumphed over their own struggles for health and or fitness reclamations, be it through dieting, cycling in and out of various dietary principles, and then thereby ably and inevitably achieve such a goal, be it fat loss goal, muscle building goal, this goal, that goal, and so on and so forth. But is there anything wrong with this? Absolutely not. And that certainly, of course, this concept initiative is not and never is about downplaying, demeaning, or downgrading anyone else's circumstances. But, and this is a big however, just wait for it, that in due time they may and will turn a change in conscience, a change in character, and sooner or later a change in their signaling, turning 180 degrees from their prior ethos. By signaling back to the masses, I have done all of this, X, Y, and Z, all of the above, so that you do not have to. Does this sound familiar? Perhaps not as intention, but a signal and a message nevertheless, an indirect message nevertheless, for everyone to stay safe, for everyone to go back to follow everything in moderation, go back to government templated way of eating, the healthy eating pyramid, 2 and 5, healthy eating plate, etc., etc. So what does all of this tell us? We must look past outcomes and instead be more objective in our way of branding amidst reclaiming and of all things admitting that health and or fitness is about identity reclamations. And one hint that is missing in all of our nutrition, health and fitness coaching, branding, or entrepreneurial such initiatives are lacking, that is theme of ownership. Hence, in light of the above, this next rebrand of Nutritional Humility will be taking this above theme very seriously into account. Hence, having said all that, that is just the many cloud of reasons as to why nutritional humility, therefore, needs an existential rebranding in its in its visualization, and of all things, its objective intent. Should readers and yourself wish to know more about the history, the overview, as well as the listing of all the prior projects in the past over so many years in its undertaking, despite however few viewerships there are, please visit and view the other videos that's actually listed down in the YouTube cards section listed below this video, and or simply raise a request in the comment section below. Once again, thank you for your partaking viewerships amidst the internet list visited independent thoughts, once again, in the world and in the realms of alternative and or decentralized nutritional science, health and wellness, in the realm and context of structural inaccessibility and economics. Leave it forward, and thank you for watching.